Thank you for watching us on YouTube. But did you know that if you're on the go, you can get the full show as a podcast now? You can get our morning breakdown of the most important topics facing our country, news not being covered by the mainstream media, interviews with change-making progressives, and info on what you can actually do about all this. Search for The Damage Report on your favorite podcast app and subscribe so you know when new episodes are ready to go. Over the past couple of years, Amazon has absolutely exploded, now being valued at more than $1 trillion at a time when some of its employees still need to pee into bottles on their breaks, and many are on various government programs because of low wages. That's an interesting dichotomy there, and now some politicians are attempting to do something about it, like Bernie Sanders in the Senate and also Ro Khanna in Congress, who joins us now on The Damage Report. Ro Khanna, welcome to the show.
John, thanks for having me on.
It's great to have you here. So I want to talk about the Stop Bezos Act in the Senate and also your Corporate Responsibility and Taxpayer Protection Act that you put forward last summer, seeking to address this large and apparently growing gap between the success of corporations and the success of its workforce. So these bills, what are they hoping to accomplish?
Well, it's common sense. If you go work at a company that is worth billions of dollars, the company should be able to pay you a wage so that you don't have to rely on food stamps. And yet we have these cases of multi-billion-dollar corporations, in some cases trillion-dollar corporations, paying their employees so little that those employees are still having to rely on public benefits. What this bill says is the corporations are going to be held liable for those public benefits if they're not paying a $15 minimum wage.
Now, of course, in the naming of the bill, there's, Bezos is in the name of the Senate version of this bill. Obviously, this might be the most egregious case, but why the focus specifically on Amazon?
Well, Amazon, the day we had announced, issued a $1 trillion market cap or release. And so it was just this disparity that here they're a company worth $1 trillion, and yet they have employees who are making $10, $11 an hour. And singling him out was not for criticism. It was to say, look at Henry Ford's model. I mean, Henry Ford paid people $2.50 a day and then doubled those wages to $5 a day in 1914. By the way, $5 a day back then is about $120 a day today, which is $15 an hour. If Henry Ford could do it, why can't Bezos and some of these other leaders who are sitting on top of huge corporations do the same thing?
Congressman, it's Michael Schur. Question for you. We last saw each other in Stat Hall about a month ago. My question, going on to what John said about Jeff Bezos, you represent Silicon Valley. I mean, you represent an industry that, while Amazon is not a big part of that there, certainly the Amazon culture and the Amazon way has been something that's given rise to Silicon Valley's success. How difficult is this politically to take somebody like Jeff Bezos, who also owns the Washington Post now, and has been, a part of saving journalism in a way? How difficult politically is this for you?
Well, it's not popular. As you saw, a lot of people criticized the bill when it was out in the Beltway. People outside the Beltway love it. And Amazon, of course, has offices in my district. But what I say is very simple. I respect Jeff Bezos as an entrepreneur. I respect the innovation. My wife and I buy Amazon packages. But what we're calling for is not ending innovation or ending a technology in any way. What we're saying is make sure everyone is benefiting from innovation and technology. Make sure that if you're making billions of dollars, other people are at least making a livable wage. And this seems to me actually in the enlightened self-interest of tech companies to prevent a backlash against what they're doing.
We've talked in a few areas about like subsidizing of dirty oil, like oil companies, coal companies, things like that. The U.S. government is fairly generous when it comes to that sort of welfare programs for these incredibly profitable corporations. It seems to me that while you said that politically it might be difficult to put forward a bill like this, and it's been pitched as sort of a left-wing thing, I don't really know why Republicans or conservatives around the country would be satisfied or happy with a situation where effectively the US government is subsidizing Amazon or any of these large corporations that depend on federal programs to allow the workforce simply to survive and allow Amazon to get away with not paying them more. Do you see this as an inherently bipartisan sort of bill that could cross between liberals and conservatives in terms of appealing to their desire for the corporations to be more responsible and less dependent on government?
I do, John. In fact, I was on Tucker Carlson's show on Fox News, and to my surprise, he really liked the bill because he said it's ridiculous that taxpayers are subsidizing multi-billion-dollar corporations. Now, some of the people in the Beltway took that and said, Sanders and Khanna are demonizing public benefits. Of course we're not. Of course we believe in public benefits. Senator Sanders has been a champion for expanding Social Security and standing up for public benefits, and I have supported public benefits. But what I don't believe in is that when you have corporations that have extraordinary gains, and all of those gains are going to a closely held group of executives, that taxpayers should then be paying public benefits. So what this bill is intended to do is getting multi-billion-dollar corporations to pony up so that taxpayers aren't stuck with the bill. And I think it has broad support, conservatives and Democrats, outside the Beltway. Inside the Beltway, where the lobbyists have loud voices and Amazon and other companies have loud voices, there has been criticism.
Yeah, and hopefully, I mean, maybe one good thing that came out of the 2016 election is that clearly, with the success of Donald Trump in his rhetoric, if not in his actions, he made clear that there are a lot of Americans that feel like these corporations have been getting away with murder for a very long time, and they might be more awakened, not necessarily along traditional party lines, to be more responsive to bills that might seek to address that. Hopefully, in the next election, that can be a bigger portion of it.
Well, this is what Democrats missed. I mean, we have to speak to what real people are facing in many parts of this country, and they're facing stagnant wages without good job opportunities. We have to answer the question, what are we going to do for them? Obviously, Donald Trump promised them policies that are wrong, increasing tariffs and stopping immigration, but he promised them something, wrong as it was. We have to say, no, a better approach is to make sure these companies are paying a decent wage and making sure that the government will be providing a raise through the earned income tax credit for workers who are working hard. So we really need to speak to people's actual concerns.
Thank you very much for watching this clip from The Damage Report. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on YouTube to get notifications of our new videos. And of course, you can catch the full Damage Report live every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on TYT Network on YouTube TV.